We will start now. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to him, to the worthy one, the blessed one, the fully enlightened Samma Sambuddha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So welcome to the second Thursday of Sutta Study and Meditation. Usually in this program, we like to highlight a teaching from the Buddha, whether it is a sutta or a little verse from a text like Dhammapada, and examine the story background of it and learn something. So this is a very new program. So we only started it last Thursday, and so this is our second day. And usually we like to give a little introduction about Peace House as we do offer these programs. Peace House is a non-profit located in the heart of Cambridge, funded by very kind-hearted, generous people. And it is also a monastic residence. Two monks from the Buddhist tradition live here in Peace House, and we offer meditations on daily basis. Now we also have a morning chanting, midday meditation, evening programs, and also a weekend meditation on Saturdays. So you are free to choose and sign up for these events. We have an executive director and a board of directors who make decisions and who does fundraising. And we are also building our community slowly, and we are happy about what we can offer so far. So today's program is basically also connected with what we discussed last week, but sort of on a different story. Last week we discussed the first verse of Dhammapada, one of the 15 texts of the Khuddaka Nikaya, the minor text of the Buddhist canon. And it's a large collection, and Dhammapada means words of Dhamma. And as I said in our previous discussion, this Dhammapada as a text has become the handbook of Buddhists. So it's like the Bible, the Holy Quran, and people like to recite this daily. And every time you recite one of the verses, the meaning may come to you slightly differently depending on your present experience and what the scripture, what the story has to offer to you. So today's discussion is on number 2 of Dhammapada. Let me share the screen so you know the Pali, and you will see the verse number 2, also the story and the translation right here. Here, you may not see the Pali diacritics here, but I will chant it for you. You see Dhammapada verse 2, and the story is about Matta Kundali story, and we will learn who that is and how he was inspired and how his story became the reason behind teaching this little verse by the Buddha. It reads this way. Means make it bigger screen. Mano pubbangama dhamma mano settha manomaya manasache pasannena bhasati va karoti va tato nang sukhaman veti chayava anapayini. And the translation goes very similar to the previous one, but the previous verse was about. Okay, let's first read the translation. All mental phenomena have mind as their forerunner. They have mind as their chief. They are mind-made. So it's first speaking about mental phenomena, and that they have mind as their forerunner, and they have mind as their chief. Mind-made are they. These mental phenomena are mind-made. And I will explain what that means based on my understanding. And if one speaks or acts with a pure mind, happiness, sukha, follows him like a shadow that never leaves him. So to break down Pali, Mano Pubbangama Dhamma. Dhamma here Dhamma has different meanings. Dhamma also means the teachings of the Buddha, but here Dhamma means mental phenomena, mental experience, what we think, what we perceive, what we cognize, how we experience the world. And whatever we experience from the mind. If you did not experience it from the mind, it does not exist in your world. It exists, but you have not experienced it. You have not seen it. You have not heard it. You have not sensed it, felt it, touched it. So it all has to be done with the mind as the forerunner. Mind precedes these experiences. In other words, I'm going to the philosophical background of this statement of the Buddha. If we were to think that there is a pre-existing I, that is not true. Of course, there is a physical I, but the mind has to be there. A conscious moment has to be there, and I consciousness has to be there, conditionally arising for you to cognize, to experience the world. I hope that is enough. That's how far I will explain the philosophy of it. But without your attention on things that you see, you may not necessarily experience them as your experiences. And mind-made are they, or they have mind as their chief. That means you may be staring at something, but if you are not actually attentive, if you are not paying attention to what you are looking at, you may not see it. So mind is the chief. So you need to pay attention to it for you to experience that, experience whatever is happening in front of you. And so therefore, these experiences are called mind-made experiences. Okay? That's why a dead person cannot experience anything, that their consciousness has left the body Therefore, they are not able to experience anything in the external world or in the internal world. But now we switch our attention to what we actually do in the world. If one speaks or acts with a pure mind, manasache pasannena, pasannena manasa. Pasanna is a pleasant mind, a pure mind. It's like clean water. With a clean mind, bhasativa, if one were to speak, or karotiva, do anything. So doing includes stealing or killing, or I'm sure you cannot steal with a pure mind. That's impossible. You cannot kill someone with a pure mind. So this is speaking about protecting other people's belongings, that they feel secure having you around, that nothing goes missing when you are around. And what you say is a gift to these people. They feel like they are receiving a gift from you. The words don't hurt these people because you have a pure mind in here, and that you are gentle in speech and you become as kind as possible. You maintain your awareness and mindfulness um, toward speaking gently and doing your actions in a very, very harmless way. So if you were to speak or do things in the world with a pasanna mind, with a pure mind, tato nang sukhamanveti. Tato, then, nang, to that person, sukhang anveti. What comes? Happiness comes. So you are the first person to benefit from the actions that you do. Because the reward is that you have a pure mind and therefore you have happiness. The moment you do or speak something, bhasativa karotiva, you do something or you speak something, thatonan sukhamanmiti, then you have happiness in you. Chayavanapayani. It's like the shadow that does not abandon you. Chaya iva, just like the shadow. Anapayani, it does not leave you. It's always there. You have seen these little babies, sometimes, they walk midday when there is a big shadow in front of them, and, they try to chase it. They don't feel, some kids get frightened seeing it. What is this thing that is after me all the time? But it's because the kid cannot perceive it as pleasant, something that's not harmful. But in general, any good thing that you have done or any good word that you have spoken is very soft, and it's not not a burden to you. So it stays with you like your shadow. But what about the bad things you have done? Don't they stay also like a shadow, not leaving you? They do too, but they start bothering you. And that is what we studied last week. Manasache paduttena, with an impure mind. If one were to speak or act, tatonam dukkhamanveti, unhappiness follows this person, like a wheel cart following the ox. The ox is so helpless that it's burdened with it until the guide, the caravan head, until he stops the wheel cart and then gives a break to the bull, to the ox. The ox is helpless and has to continue carrying all the weight of the wheel cart. But on the contrary, on the positive side, The shadow is very light, and that is similar to happiness that follows you. It's not burdensome, and that is why the Buddha is using shadow here. And let's see the story behind teaching this. Let me read that for you. I'll have to shrink the screen a little bit so I have the whole story in one screen. I'm sorry you may not um, see it clearly because it's small letters. This is the story of Matta Kundali. Matta Kundali. While residing at the Jetavana monastery in Savatthi, the Buddha uttered verse 2 of this book with reference to Matta Kundali, a young Brahmin. So Brahmin is a clan, one of the highest clans in India at the time of the Buddha and still. Matta Kundali was a young Brahmin whose father, Adinna Pubbaka, was very stingy and never gave anything in charity. So Adinna means not given. Pubbaka means before. He did not give anything to anyone before. And that is why he has that name. It's funny to have a name like that. People call him, not a giver. He has not given anything before. Even the gold ornaments for his only son were made by himself to save payments for workmanship. When his son fell ill, no physician was consulted until it was too late. When he realized that his son was dying, he had the youth carried outside onto the veranda so that people coming to his house would not see his possessions. He did not want anyone to see that he is a rich millionaire, wealthy person, a setti, like in the Pali language. Setti is a millionaire. On that morning, the Buddha, arising early from his deep meditation of compassion, saw in his net of knowledge Matta Kundali lying on the veranda. So, when entering Savatthi for alms food with his disciples, the Buddha stood near the door of the Brahmin Adinna Pubbaka, the father of this young man who was dying. The Buddha sent forth a ray of light to attract the attention of the youth, who was facing the interior of the house. The youth saw the Buddha, and as he was very weak, he could only profess his faith mentally. He was very weak. The young man could not even get up and put his palm together to show respect to the Buddha. But what he did was he aroused faith toward the Buddha mentally, that the Buddha is here to help me. But that was enough. Just having faith toward the Buddha was enough. And he passed away with his heart in devotion to the Buddha. He was born in the Tavatinsa celestial world, 33 heavens. This is a heavenly abode that is popular and has luxuries of all kinds and has a long, everyone who's born there has a very, very long lifespan. And that is where he was born. And he was born there because the last thing this young man did was to have faith toward the Buddha and feeling that the Buddha came to help me. From his celestial abode, the young Matta Kundali, seeing his father mourning over him at the cemetery, appeared to the old man in the likeness of his old self. So he saw his father now crying at the cemetery. And the young man, who is now a celestial being, decided to appear in front of his father in his previous form as a young man. because divine beings can, appear when they have superior powers. They can appear in any form they like. He told his father about his rebirth in the Tavatinsa world and also urged his father to approach and invite the Buddha to a meal in his house. So the father did so. At the house of Adinapubbaka, the question of whether one could or could not be reborn in a celestial world simply by mentally professing profound faith in the Buddha without giving in charity or observing the moral precepts was brought up. So maybe the monks or someone in the house, um, they happen to ask, is it true? Is it possible that, Adina, in Adinapubbaka's place, Matakundali lived and he could not give anything. He only turned toward the Buddha as he was dying and he was happy. He had faith toward the Buddha, but his life was very short that he could not even keep the precepts. This is basically about keeping 5 precepts. When I teach children, I mean young ones, I teach these 5 precepts as parts of a vehicle, like the steering wheel, your 4 wheels, and the engine, and gasoline, and and maybe engine oil. Without having these 5 things, the vehicle cannot run properly. So without having the 5 precepts, the young ones may not live a comfortable life, such as, the 5 precepts include killing beings. So your life will be at danger because you have killed, and others will be looking for ways to kill you as well. So I try to teach these, to protect other beings, radiate loving kindness, and so on. And also not stealing, protecting other people's properties, and also not engaging in wrong sexual conduct so that they have proper relationships and valued relationships, and that way their life is not complicated. And also the 4th precept, that is about telling lies. So your words are truthful and that you are trusted as a genuine, sincere person. That's very useful in your life going forward from a young child to an adult, in work life and everywhere within family and outside in the society. And also abstaining from alcohol. So these are the precepts. So when we discuss these stories, little words like precepts show up, and I teach this to children specifically to show them that these are like strong pillars holding a building, and if one is broken, the building is going to collapse. So, like the 5 important things of a vehicle. If any piece is missing, the vehicle is not going to run properly, and you are going to crash. Just like that, your life is going to crash if you have broken any of these precepts. So it's never too late. You can start again. That's also the beauty of learning about the power of your mind. You can start again and shine the world, come out clean, and start a good life, a morally stable and clean life. So Mata Kundali didn't have time to do any of that. How can he be born in the heavenly world? That was the question when the Buddha visited this house. So then the Buddha made it so that Mata Kundali should appear in person from heavenly world in his father's house. Mata Kundali soon appeared, fully decked with celestial ornaments, and told everyone about his rebirth in the heavenly world. Then only the audience became convinced that the son of the Brahmin Adinapubbaka, by simply devoting his mind to the Buddha, having a pleasant mind, had attained much glory, much happiness. Then the Buddha spoke this verse: all mental phenomena have mind as their forerunner, they have mind as their chief, they are mind made. If one speaks or acts with a pure mind, the only thing that this young man did was to have faith in the Buddha, and happiness follows him like a shadow that never leaves. At the end of this discourse, Mata Kundali and his father, Adinapubbaka, attained the stream winner path. That means going against the current, not living like, the ordinary people, unaware of any middle path or any higher ground, higher moral values. So they all started practicing righteous conduct. So they too will either have celestial rewards, greater human happiness, or even greater attainments mentally in their practice. And Adinna Pubbaka also donated almost all his wealth to the cause of the Buddha's teachings. So that is what we have from that story. So we have so many stories like this that we can discuss, so many teachings, so many little and um, big teachings. Some of the teachings are very long. It takes maybe weeks for us to speak. And my plan is to maybe announce a retreat-like program, so something that is progressive, so people gradually learn and go deeper into these teachings that may be offered in several stages. Uh, you know, we can be creative about learning these teachings. But the basic idea is that um, small happiness, just such as, seeing someone like the Buddha, seeing someone like so pure and divine in your mind, and seeing, oh, how beautiful, how nice, how beautiful that this Buddha is here. But the Buddha's greatness also comes from how he has followed the middle path, that he speaks kind and pleasant words, and he lives a very detached, simple life, not carrying too much with him. He only does arms round and then his teachings, and he lives secluded from his sensual, not going toward sensual pleasures, but going inwardly, cultivating his, even after attaining Buddhahood, he was doing his meditations continuously so that he spends his time in tranquil, stilled state of mind. But I like to also end the discussion and then go to meditation by saying something in simpler terms. This is from one of the Thai monks called Ajahn Chah. He asks, just this simple question: when you are pricked by something, like you step on something and that is stuck into the skin, it's like a thorn pierced your skin, and you know that it is there under the skin, and that you can't walk properly, and it's hurting you. At that moment, do you think that let me spend 2 days and maybe I'll remove it after? Or do you want to immediately remove it so that you have relief? The answer is obvious, right? You want it removed immediately. In the same way, for any person, when you realize that whether mentally or verbally or with your actions, if there is any impurity that you notice, don't you think that you should immediately remove it? That you don't wait 2 days, 3 days, or you don't indulge in it? Isn't that so simple? And when we think that way, it's like, something, you have eaten something poisonous and you realize it. And then suddenly you have a thought, let me spend 3 days, not take any medicine. That's not the way. You'd rather take it off your whole system, body and mind, so that you have a painless, smooth life. Isn't that how we should treat any impurities in our mind? And life that way becomes so easy, so beautiful. And that you can do anytime. Okay? With that, let's do some meditation and purify our mind as best as we can. You will hear the sound of the gong 3 times. That will be a time to come to your body and begin your meditation. As the sound of the gong disappears, you may simply close your eyes and begin to settle in your body and feel comfortable in a meditation posture. What may appear to you as a meditation posture, simply taking a deep breath in and releasing. Another deep breath in and releasing. As you breathe in and breathe out, your awareness comes to your breath. Although we begin with breathing in and breathing out with a little effort, you may slowly go back to your natural inhaling and exhaling that happens effortlessly. Since your eyes are closed, you let go of seeing, and you do so with your hearing, smelling, tasting, physical sensations, and thinking. As these six senses are becoming slowly inactive, you start to experience some seclusion from these. sense faculties. The easiest way is to spend some time with your breath that is happening now. Simply breathing in and breathing out through your nostrils and noticing as many details as possible of your inhaling and exhaling. You come to the center of your being, keeping your body straight and relaxed. Mindfully you breathe in and mindfully you breathe out. Sato assa sati. Mindfully you breathe in. Sato passa sati. Mindfully you breathe out. If you have to adjust your body during this meditation to move away from agitation, feel free to do so, also with mindfulness. So you have uninterrupted cultivation of the awakening factor of mindfulness. And then come back to your breathing. You do so anytime you may feel you are distracted as well. Dīgham va santo. Taking a long breath. Dīgham asasami pajanati. You are fully aware that you are taking a long breath. Dīgham va passasanto. exhaling long breath. Dighang passasami pajanati. You are fully aware that you are exhaling a long breath. So we will practice these two simple steps. Mindfully breathing in and mindfully breathing out. Noticing also long breath, inhaling and exhaling. As you develop your mind with mindfulness in breathing, you may notice your body's simple, subtle movements along with your breath, especially in your chest area, the upper body, where the breath is felt, your shoulders, lungs. So you start to notice these. As you let in tranquility, spaciousness, more and more seclusion enter your being. Apakaya Patisamvedi, sensitive to the entire breath body. You breathe in and breathe out. Assasisami, Assasisami, Sikhati. And this is a training. Notice your body as you breathe in and breathe out. Awareness to your physical body and the entire breath body. You breathe in and breathe out. Now, moving away from your body, you stay with your mind and pure awareness. However subtle your breath becomes, you are aware of it. You may feel that everything slows down far away, and that is great. You notice your breath still happening in various subtle ways. You may notice the moments when your mind is silent and luminosity of your pure state of mind being increased as you stay with your very subtle feelings of breath. Now you may take a minute or two to come out of your meditation as you hear the gong.
Thank you, Kusala.
Thank you.
Your
Thank you, Kusala.
teaching